you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am the Rascal. Today's video, I wanted to talk about a game idea I had that I've actually been kind of writing the storyline, the ideas behind it, and what it would all be about for about 3 to 4 years now. I'm not a game developer. I don't know animations. I'm not a programmer. So basically it's a big idea. So if anybody would like to borrow my idea, let me know. You know, if it's something that you would like to progress farther, but listen to the entire video in order to understand why and how this would come together. So the full idea of the game, the original idea, is to make it a fully fledged prison game. And no, I don't mean Prison Simulator or Prison Architect or the game that's coming out where you play co-op with a friend and it's story-based. The big idea behind it would be you pick your sentence, what you did, then you have to actually survive in prison for the real length amount of time. Okay, so let's just say, you know, for a little PG-13 status, that you pick your sentence, and the way I had it developed out, or the way I had it thought out, is the main screen that comes up, there'd be a judge. You'd get to do your character creation, how he looks, and then you pick your sentence, and at the end of the sentencing, the judge, right before the game started, would go, "Guilty," and, you know, bang the gavel. Now, there would be multiple criminal acts that you could choose from, that you could say that you did. Some, of course, would be left out. There's no room for, you know, anything with child molestation or nothing like that. That's absolutely wrong to put in a video game at all. Most criminal acts are, but that's very defined. Same, or very nasty. Same with, you know, anything that involves, you know, anybody unwilling to be involved with sex acts. That's not something that would be okay in any state or form in the game. But on the other hand, you would be able to choose 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then what would happen is if you complete any of the modes or escape your sentence, then what we have, or if you get resentenced while you're in the prison, we have 25 to life mode, which basically means you're in there for good, and your whole role in the game would be sort of Skyrim Fallout-esque, where there would be a lot of NPCs, but they'd be more linear versions, or there'd be multiple. Okay, so let's go at it this way. You get to the prison, you get your cell, but as they're dragging your carcass or walking you to the cell, you go through everything. They're gonna go through the scene where they strip you. They're going to go through the scene where they give you your stuff. You're gonna get dirty looks by prisoners. You're gonna, you know, be called new fish, or, you know, whatever derogatory things by prisoners and by the guards on your way to your cell. In passing, you might see a prisoner's cell being tossed, aka the guards looking for things. You could see an assault happen and then guards run in and, you know, beat somebody up or stop the fight. You could actually, depending on what you pick, come in. It would all be a complete random scenario. So you could walk in, and next thing you know, the lockdown buzzer goes off, and then you get shoved into a cell, and that's where you start. And then you're basically on your own. Or you could end up, you know, in a lineup, and you meet the warden blah blah blah, kind of Shawshank Redemption, where they kind of, give you an introduction and then file your ass in, and then the game begins. So the whole premise of the game would be surviving and making your own path within the prison, just like real prisoners do. And I have had people that have been in jail, prison, talk to me. Like, I did interviews and stuff, because I was actually going to copyright the whole idea and, fax it or email it or whatever to a gaming company and see who would pick it up. I think about now the only companies that would even take something like this serious is, some of the either a startup that wants to indulge in something very risky, or a company like maybe Rockstar that, has Grand Theft Auto already on its list, and this really wouldn't be much worse. But okay. So, you get in your cell. You kind of, in the upper right hand corner, you would have, a time meter that would be like, you don't actually know what time it is in prison, but for the sake of, of a game, for your first playthrough, you're going to have a little clock that tells you, rec time, lunch, different periods throughout the day. The first thing you're going to do is look around your cell, maybe, have the desk in there. You're going to have to, use your facility in your bathroom, or in your cell. You could end up having a cellmate right off the bat, and that could be good or bad for you, because you don't know what that guy did. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if you're going to go to sleep in your bunk and wake up to a knife in your throat in the middle of the night. Game over. That would be the risk of playing the game. You don't know. Which would be a high selling point for this on a educational side, as well as fun factor, progressing through a prison, getting friends, people, acquaintances that you can count on, form your own prison gang, work up your muscles in the yard, have like a pen pal contact, or, make sure that your family or friends, whoever, keep money on your books. Basically, the game, like I was talking about the NPCs, is each NPC would have its own hidden agenda. I mean, you will find, the passerbys or the people like Red, like in Shawshank Redemption, where you talk to them, they could possibly smuggle you something into the prison. Prison gangs, they're gonna look out for themselves, so, start shit with somebody in the yard, and then you end up, getting your ass beat, daily. Prison, butt sex probably will happen. Unless you're a behemoth of a man and can take down, 10, 20 guys that want some from you. Because you're going to have to go through all this. You're going to have to take showers, keep your hygiene up. It kind of would honestly include multiple components from multiple games. So you would have like a hygiene meter and like hunger and stuff like sim based, and then you would have the time. Then you would have linear quests like Skyrim or Fallout. Like, they wouldn't actually be full on must have to do quests, because again, this would be your carcass just got thrown in prison. Now what? And the biggest, hardest part of this game is the first time you play through the original sentence. It's going to have, a little bit of a fast forward clock time. So, you're not playing in real time. You're not just, sitting in front of your computer going, okay, my guy literally is just sitting in a cell the entire game. You're going to have to do, push-ups to pass the time. You're going to sleep. You're going to rape people. You're going to have your own status quo with the guards, you know, stuff like that. You know, you're gonna have to go to rec and work out, play basketball, make acquaintances, make alliances with people, go to the cafeteria. Same thing. Make sure you have a place to eat at lunch, or a place to sit at lunch and eat. As well as showering. Going into the shower. A very risky spot in the jail. You know, guards aren't going to be in there to protect you when you drop the soap. Hint, hint. And as I said at the beginning, with the cells being tossed, that's something that you're going to have to look out for, because, like I said, you're going to have all that time in your cell. Make weapons, you know, plan, you know, an escape, you know, but you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to be very observant. You're going to have to have everything set up to where your cell gets tossed, or you can persuade the guard not to search your cell that day, come back another day so that way you can hide stuff. Or you could say that and the guards are like, no, you're going to search your cell right now, and you end up losing some health because they're going to nail you and throw you in freaking solitaire. And now, like I said, going back to the fast forward time, once you either complete the game or get a resentencing, that clock disappears, and now you are in real time. Which means, if it's 4 o'clock right now while I'm doing this video. If I was in game, it would be 4 o'clock. So if, you know, I have work, say I have to go to work tomorrow, but that's when rec time is in game, I'm going to miss that. Because now I'm going to have to manage my time a little bit different. So it would be more immersive for the player. It's going to be a lot harder, because then they're going to be like, okay, I'm only going to be able to play this game on the weekends. No, you can, but you're going to miss out on status upgrades. You know, your physical health is going to diminish, and there will be a system in place where you will not be able to change your clock on your, say if it came out for the Xbox, you won't be able to change the time on there and skip, you know, a couple hours just so you can go about your day in game. You won't be able to do that on the computer. So it makes you feel like you're in prison, which would be a great way to, you know, maybe steer some of this youth to not want to do this, because this game would be very restricting. And I say very restricting because it's not a prison simulator. You cannot simulate an environment like prison. The smells, the noises, the sleepless nights, the time spent worrying, you know, if I'm gonna die, if I'm gonna live, you know, when am I gonna get out? Did my lawyer just screw my ass over? Is my wife out there cheating on me? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? But it's going to basically show you in-game form. So you're going to be able to have fun with this. If this was to be a real game. You would be able to have fun, but you are going to have the guidelines of a prison. Well, that's all I have for now. I do have quite a bit more information about the game. If you guys would like to see a second video about more elaborate stuff, I'll bring out my notebooks, I'll read you guys some stuff, make a much longer video, maybe even do some screenshots and some you know, concept drawings, concept art showing. Until then, I am the Rascal, and I will see you in the next video.